Okay, see the inside here? We've got a triple! Folks, we have a triple! But it's just me.
You're pumped.
I know. You gotta get excited, man. You get 3 fish on, 1 dude reeling? That doesn't excite you. I don't know. Turn off. Unsubscribe. I don't know.
Don't tell them that.
I mean, seriously though, if 3 fish doesn't get you excited, right? Like you're doing the wrong deal, bro. 1, 2, 1, 2.
What's planned today?
Well, here's the deal. We're going film with producer dude again, and we've been pretty lucky, but there's kind of a thing when we used to shoot our show together, crappy weather kind of followed, didn't it?
Usually it does, yeah.
Yeah, it's been super nice. Weather is not crappy, but it's not real nice. We've got nice wind, flags flying straight. But we're gonna do something a little different. We're doing one of my favorite things that we haven't really done much on the channel since we've really kind of blown it up here, producer dude. Spinners. You remember when we shot the TV show, we were spinnering it up.
I do.
And we're gonna do it today. And I'll tell you why. It almost is crazy. It's been so nice. And then we get camera on board and it's like, it's windy, it's rainy. We're still gonna catch them though. Producer dude's got no rain pants on, feeling like it's gonna get entertaining. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, dude. How long have we been doing this?
I don't own rain pants.
Wow. But yeah, we're gonna do something a little different here. We're gonna pull some spinners. We'll talk about why as we're kind of getting lines set up and everything, but it's been real good the last little bit, which is traditionally the case at this time of year. So you can almost put it on the calendar. But last few years, we really haven't done much of it, to be honest, because conditions have been different than they are right now. Here we go. Minn Kota's down. Worm time. You know what that means? Walleyes in a dirty boat. Soon to follow. Oh, fish. Yeah, this could get interesting. Just over here trying to set lines, you know. We made 1 out. So, let me tell you what we're doing here. We're doing something here different than what you've seen if you've watched a lot of my stuff. We're using 2-ounce weights. And the reason we've kind of switched away from the cranks, which have been super successful in Erie the last few years, and they still are, but right now a lot of these fish are down. We've got post-spawn fish, and so these fish are a little deeper and just a lot easier to get these weights out with less line. So traditionally I'm using a 1-ounce sinker, and you know that's going to get in that range. But now we're picking the speed up a little bit because there's a lot of junk fish. You know, that water's in the 60s, and once you get that, the junk fish tend to bite a little less when you're going faster. So we're gonna bump that speed up 3 or 4 tenths more. You're gonna be maybe pushing 1.5 miles an hour. We got the whole Navy coming behind us now. They saw that one, they're like, hey. And you know, by going a little faster, those weights like the 1-ouncers I traditionally like to use are just gonna ride up too much. We're gonna have to put too much line out. So then when we're dipping and turning, you know, we're touching bottom and we're out of the strike zone. So let's hope this is the right flavor, but I know it hit. We were on the way out, weren't we, producer dude? First rod. Don't even have anything ready, nets.
Nothing was ready.
No rods out.
You weren't even talking yet.
No, I was in that zone. Yep.
Which is a feat in itself that you weren't talking.
Guess what? Walleye number uno. On the way out. Public service announcement. Kids, always use your clicker, then you'll know there's a bite, even when you're looking on another line. Trying to talk to the micro machine guy, but it doesn't do so well. So, you know, we got kind of an overcast day, and I use a lot of golds. This one hit on an antifreeze, a little Northland antifreeze blade that I like. It's gonna be a good day.
That was literally 30 seconds.
That was 30 seconds. That was first line. Boom. Not even all the way out, just putting her out. We're gonna reuse this crawler because it's so lucky. any rate, so this weight thing, this is kind of the key. I get people all the time. Nobody wants to do the work. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know you want to watch the videos. We're gonna help educate you. But you gotta do a little bit of work yourself. You know, these dive charts and these things, that's probably the number one question I get is, hey, how far is 30 back with a 1.5 ounce or whatever? It doesn't really matter. You've got to have a rough idea, and do I go drag my stuff on the bottom to kind of get a rough idea? Absolutely. And y'all need to do the same thing. But it's more important that you kind of figure out for the speed you're going, choose the right weight. So like for me, like I said, that 1.2 to maybe 1.6 range, you know, 2 ounces is a pretty good weight. And that's going to allow me to kind of have that nice angle, and I'm not going to be too steep or too flat, so we don't have too much line out or too little line. But the big thing is to separate those weights. So your leads are maybe 20, 30, 40 or something like that. You want to cover the whole spectrum, because what you have to understand is, who knows exactly where 30 feet is? It doesn't even matter, because we turn the boat a little bit, we speed up, we slow down, those weights are going to do this. So it's much more important to kind of have like a rake, and so the different leads, and we're going to stagger it. So no matter what, we're covering that water column, and that is the most important thing. And I tell people that, and they don't believe me, but it's what I do each and every day. I wouldn't lie to you guys. Producer dude, though. I'm going to lie to him all the time. Like, no, it's not going to be rough today, producer dude. A lot of guys just don't know what a bite is, and that's probably the biggest thing to take, you know, time, or just check your lines more. A lot of guys just don't realize what a bite is. It doesn't have to be a ton, so when in doubt, check it out. Sounds like I could probably do some motivational speaking with lines like that. I tell people it's kind of like reeling through jello. It's like you just see a little bit there, like when these boards come up over a wave, they just kind of lag a little bit because that fish is just hanging. But the worst thing you can do is be really aggressive or hard with them, because so many of these fish are just barely hooked. You know, you're using, at least I do, somewhat smaller hooks, and you can rip them out. And that's bad. But we got a little pattern going here. Now we got some of the same leads working. So again, remember, don't ask me. I'm gonna get tons of DMs on this. What's 37 back at 1.4? It doesn't matter. We're gonna manhandle. I feel like we have a Vulcan death grip in 3, 2, 1. All right. What a nice deal here. We don't have much time to talk around because we've got another one. So again, having those extra rod holders really matters, whether you're fishing by yourself or not, being able to get these lines out of the way so we don't have a tangle. Watch this. See that inside board is just barely pulling back, where that middle board's way back, but guess what? There's a fish on both. This is for folks you'd want to hit a waypoint on your GPS. But we don't need to. We know what we got going on here. So, again, you can catch them a lot of ways, but you know, I've got less than 50 feet of line out, and I can get down really deep, where you just can't do that if you're pulling a crankbait right now. I'm not telling you to sell your crankbaits, but these night crawler deals on post-spawn fish are deadly. Bottom bouncers too. Bottom bouncers for sure. Another big thing that I see with guys when they're reeling these in, again, they're small hooks. They all want to do Bill dance stuff. We love you, Bill. But you want to just basically point the rod at the fish and keep a bend in it, but go where they're going. Don't pull the rod sideways and pull against them. You're literally pulling the hooks out, and you're basically putting pressure on that fish you don't have to. So I want to follow that fish, and that way I can take in slack or take in line a lot easier, like we're doing here. And like I said, we're using bead chains. These happen to be 2 ounces because we kind of, you know, I know we've been fishing out here and the fish have been deeper. A lot of the bitas, but not as much junk. And another really good indicator, so that was on the red hook on the front. So I got a 2-hook rig here. When they're hitting that front hook, that's always a good indicator you might have the right blade size or combo. If they're constantly hitting that rear hook and just barely getting up on it, that might be a good indication that maybe you downsize a blade or try changing a color. Obviously you're getting bites, but sometimes just tweaking it a little bit really will make a difference. You know, you got to think about it like this. When you're pulling crankbaits, you may be going 2.5 miles an hour. That fish, it's like a reaction deal. They don't have a lot of time to kind of think about the whole process. Where with these spinners, we're going slower. Those fish come up on them. I've watched them on underwater cameras. They'll nudge them, they'll go after them. It takes a little more savvy catching them on spinners, but it's not difficult. Another thing you got to really take into consideration, so like whatever your lead is that you're catching on, let's say it's 40 feet back. Remember, 40 feet back on the port side or the starboard side is not going to be the same depth mostly because the speed's going to be a little different and the angle is going to cause those to be different, actually different depths. So sometimes you got to adjust 5, maybe as much as 10 feet depending on the weight. But here's another example. So we started off over here. Now this fish is over there. So if I was pulling sideways, that thing would be underneath the boat. But instead, I just have been kind of slowly taking up slack. And we got this thing right over here because he wants to go cray-cray. This thing's like your sister. It's a little crazy. And it's not a giant. He's got a little chin music going on there. Woo! That was a failed execution of the Vulcan death grip. Two times. Whew. 2 times. Oh boy, what a freak show here. So, another lucky little walleye, still a nice one, gosh. We got some lines in the water, we'll talk in a minute. All right, let's see what we got. I don't know, producer, if you can look on the floor here. We got a limit of walleyes in the boat. We've been going about 10 minutes. We don't even have our rod socks put away yet. Crazy bite on the spinners. Was it a good decision to switch it up a little bit?
Yes, it was.
I know you're probably sick of watching us pull crankbaits too, to be honest.
Seems like that's the only thing we ever do.
Yeah, it's just so worked so good.
We didn't do any jigging this year.
We didn't. You know, that open water bite was so good, and then it's so windy. Was it windy where you're at? It's windy everywhere. Again, on this stuff, I kind of, you know, it's like beating a dead horse, but everybody gets in my boat does the same thing. Slow and steady, no rod pumping. Just let these things beat themselves up. And another thing we talked about in one of the last crankbait videos, me and producer dude shot here, is, you know, spreading those boards out a little bit. Yeah, you get a little more coverage, but the big thing is when you get like another one on, we had the triple here a little bit ago, you don't crash in or get tangled up, because you've got enough separation between them. And it's a win-win-win deal. A lot of guys, they always stack their boards right on top of each other, and I don't get it. Look at this thing. Good God.
Nice one.
You know, if you're into drum, if you're into this kind of thing, it's the only second one I've ever caught. So, you know, I feel like we should video it.
So both of today is the first day you've ever caught them.
Yeah. You know, it's just
Lucky day.
yeah. That's how I kind of look at it. It's kind of how I feel. Well, we had a quick but deadly morning. Me and producer dude out here pulling spinners, as you saw, and we had one rod left in the water. We just kind of left there while we were shooting you some more tip videos. So there's a lot more tip videos coming. You guys have asked for them. We're going to keep bringing them to you. And we've got one rod in the water. We got one fish on. I don't know what it is, but it's going to bring us home, whatever it is. I feel good about it. You may have to hit the fast forward button on this one, producer dude. Woo! Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Got walleyes bigger than this even. Tips, tricks, podcasts. Producer dude, what do we not have now? cooking videos?
We have those.
We got them all. Until the next episode.